What's the stupidest reason you've been dumped? Talked to this girl for hours, texting and phone calls for an entire summer while she was nannying for her sister across the country. We had known each other a while and there was a mutual crush. We'd just talk for hours. And it was a nice way to start the relationship. Different from my others. Back. I thought things were great. Then she told me we don't see the world the same way. I asked her to explain, provide examples. I truly wanted to understand, but she couldn't articulate further. Then she asked if I wanted to make out for a while. I declined. I wouldn't know. The two guys who dumped me just ghosted me. Back in the 80s, we didn't use that word. But it happened when cowards didn't have the balls to say, I like your friend Michelle. Better nowadays. Which I'm assuming was why the first guy dumped me. Michelle quit calling me and quit the job we both worked at. No idea why 3 years later the second guy just quit calling and wouldn't return my calls. We dated 51 weeks. Maybe he didn't want to buy me a 1-year anniversary gift. I had bought him something. But that was 1989, so I don't remember what it was. Wouldn't say stupidest reason, but guess here's mine. We should be friends, and nothing more was what he replied after I commented on one of his posts on Facebook. Public view, everyone saw it. It was very embarrassing and he never explained why. Not too long afterwards, I noticed he was sharing a lot of porn pages on his Facebook. So honestly, thought I wasn't attractive enough, and then years later, my younger sister decided to look him up for shits and giggles and realized that he possibly came out of the closet. Regardless, I do hope he's doing okay. A cell phone error was causing my text to send in triplicate for some reason to her and her alone. Just randomly one day, she said that I was intentionally annoying her and being aggressive by typing the same thing over and over again. I had no idea what was happening because it wasn't showing up on my end, and it would be super out of character for me to do anything like that. By the time she finally showed me screenshots of it, I said it's probably a cell tower bug and to try restarting the phone. But she broke up instead. I dated a very fit woman for her age, 48. And I was 50, and she dumped me. I treated her like a queen, and she would always tell me you were so good to me. During the breakup, she was giving me different BS reasons, and she told me she needed someone who can keep up with her. She gave an example how the year before I turned around while kayaking, and she wanted to keep going. I'm a tall guy, and I didn't fit well in this particular kayak. She only went about another 300-400 yards before she herself turned around. I wanted to wait for us to know each other better, and wanted to respect her before treating her like a one-night stand and just fuck her. Why body? And when I called cops they took me away. Because she had a scratch and I was beaten to a pulp. But because she was so hot and skinny, and I'm a big dude, they took me away even after I called them. She was yelling at me as I was taken away that why I couldn't just want her as a GF. Crazy bitch. We had already had a rough week. But a big argument happened and we had it solved in my mind. I sent her a conclusion text that basically said in a much longer way, I'm glad we found the root issue. As long as we can get more one-on-one time on your terms, and you let me go home at night when I'm tired, we are good. That made me selfish and inconsiderate for springing new things on her right before bed. Nothing I said was new or needed further conversation. I had already bought her an engagement ring. I recall a girl I was hanging with a lot said she can't date me because her best friend used to like me a lot. So instead she started dating a dude she met 2 weeks later and moved in with him by the end of the month. Got pregnant. And he left her right after the baby was born. He left the apartment they were staying and never came back. She did tell me he left her a note about good luck and that he was joining the military. That was the last time we ever heard from him. And his daughter is like 14 or 15 now. Blew out the ACL and minor tear PCL in my left knee. 6 weeks after the surgery she drops me like a hot spud covered in shit. She couldn't handle living with a cripple. It's not like I was completely helpless and couldn't wipe my own ass or wash myself. Needed help getting dressed a few times because the knee was stiff sore. Karma's a nasty bitch. Ran into her a few years later. 3 screaming crotch goblins and she wasn't looking like she was having fun. Cracks his knuckles finally. My Reddit time to shine has come. I dated a semi-functioning alcoholic in 2011. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. to a voicemail. A slurring and hate-spitting voicemail accusing me of hiding beer from her. How was I hiding beer from her? I had put decants in the door of the fridge and not on the shelf. Looking back, I dodged a huge bullet, but at the time I was convinced I'd never find love again. I was in 6th grade and already thought having a girlfriend was stupid. We weren't going to be doing anything. I always thought, what's the point if I'm not looking for my wife? And I knew I wasn't finding my wife in the 6th grade. She asked me one day if I was cheating on her, and I said yes, taking the easy out. It's all so silly. We were kids and not physical at all. So what would cheating be? Talking with other girls. I was raised in Utah and raised Mormon. For that matter, I no longer identify as one. The guy I was dating broke it off through text, when I'd been talking to him in person an hour before, might I add, and he said he was breaking up because he wasn't Mormon anymore, and didn't want to have to stop swearing around me. Back then, swearing was seen as a bad thing, and saying oh my god was also swearing. She was done using me for their kinkle the whole time. She had never actually broken up with her ex, and they both just got off on the idea of her being sexually submissive to someone like me. Apparently she would give him a presentation and share the pics and vids and stuff after a weekend at my place, which explains why she pretty much never wanted to go out or be seen with me. Because I got fat. We were in high school and I stopped taking Concerta and finally was normal weight for my height and age. I look really sickly and malnourished in a lot of pictures from that time because I was. The pills killed my appetite, so I only ate once every few days for like 2 years. And for the record, that wasn't fat. This points at current self as fat. When I wasn't Muslim, and when I offered to convert, apparently converts are not on the same level as being born into the religion. I still believe to this day that her family posed in her mind. 2, I was a nice guy. 3, looking at my hairless body did not feel right. I have alopecia universalis. Maybe this was not so stupid reason, but at least she could have not been so blunt. Her mum pulled me to the side at play practice and told me she didn't want her daughter to deal with the issues that come with dating outside of her race. But don't worry, she isn't racist, she is just looking out for her daughter. I'm white and so was she. Her mum was convinced I was Mexican, and when I told her I'm white she told me not to be ashamed of my heritage. You know what? When I was toxic, at least I knew I was the problem. It's like once I become a good person, things got worse. She left me for literally no reason. Well, she obviously likes someone else, but she wouldn't be honest for shit. My point is she never gave a valid reason. It was just I don't know. In sorry, which is way worse than you're a piece of shit. Die. It'd have lasted 5 seconds. But instead she took everything wrong and asked and argued, why should I be required to give you a kiss? Argument last a week, then 2, and now we are broken up. Effing crazy. Week was going, he called me, he was working about an hour away, and when I asked him how his week had been, he got agitated, told me I knew he was very busy, cut the conversation short and ghosted me. We'd only had a few dates, but until that moment everything seemed great. It's been more than 30 years and I'm still puzzled. He said his mum found out and I was honestly a bit relieved. Lol. I think I said, AWW, oh well. We were like 16 years old and it was an online relationship. Lasted a month. He was a cool friend, but the romance bit's what I wanted. He said I love you within a few hours of dating, and it made me uncomfortable. Lol. We had fallen asleep on the couch together while watching a movie. Woke up the next morning and she was gone. An hour later she dumped me by text. What was my crime? In her dream I had slept with her sister. 3 weeks later she called saying she's sorry and she wants us to try again. Lesson learned. Don't put your knob in a whack job. She thought I was cheating because she saw me out with a guy she'd never met. It was my brother. He was in town for the weekend and we went out for drinks. She didn't believe me because we looked nothing alike, we have different dads, and she dumped me, telling me this is why I don't date bisexuals. You're straight bitches in disguise. mutual friend group because he had a micro penis. I've apologized since. But I'll always feel super guilty because it followed him throughout high school and will always follow him amongst said friend group. To come to mine. Point 1, she started dating me because I'm a gamer geek and she thought that'd be cute. She got upset that I wanted to spend so much time gaming. 2 different, she started dating me because I'm a gamer geek and she had this idea that meant I'd be a shy virgin type that I didn't work out the way she expected. I told him I had a really busy day at work because we were slammed. Told him I wanted to say good morning and that I'll be busy. We can talk when I get off. He went apeshit on me and said I didn't care about him and blocked me on everything. Guess I dodged a bullet. Edit, we were together less than a week. I was dating a girl in the Air Force. She told me that she was traveling to ST. I didn't know where it was but assumed it was in Louisiana, BC. It sounded French, so I told her okay. Drive safe. She broke up with me moments later. And I choose to believe it is because I'm a moron. He was taking to a girl in Canada. We live in Georgia. He's never been to Canada or met anyone from Canada. I had an insider tell me that, and when I confronted him about it, he got pissed and dumped me. All that still confuses me to this day. This happened almost 2 years ago. Because I like country music. Note this was after we'd been together a while and he knew from the beginning. And he also likes some country music. He even performed it sometimes. I knew the whole time it was BS. He married the other girl 3 months after this breakup. I was once dumped on the 28th of December. My birthday is 31st. On Jan to she was back and thought that everything would be as before. It wasn't. Later I found out from her friend that she wanted to sleep with a guy at a New Year's Eve party, so that's why she dumped me.